Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Thursday the 15th of June. So, what we've got in store today then, we had the, let me just get the right page, it's the wrong one. We had the Fed meeting yesterday. No real changes to expectation. There may have been a little bit more hawkish chit-chat amongst it. It's looking certainly a bit less likely we'd see the cuts that were expected at the end of the year now. They're seeing inflation as being stubborn. I picked up there, so let me just update this. So where are we then? So it was left untouched, which as I said yesterday morning, it's around about 90% expected to be untouched, which it was. However, there was a bit more of a hawkish sort of tone along with it. Today then, where we've already seen the Australian data, the employment change there, looking strongly, quite strong overall. Now this just puts more pressure on another interest rate increase probably at some stage. I know it's just employment. I say just employment. It's employment and it's not inflation, but this helps cause inflation. So as wage rises increase. Aside of that, I'm just looking at retail sales in China coming off a fraction, 12.7%. We can only dream of those sort of figures. Euro today then is 115. That's the key thing there. Expected another 0.25%. That's priced in, and then it's really what comes with the statement, and that's the key stuff there. In the US then at 130 core retail sales, and then at 145, so you've got a real wrapper there, sitting around between 115 145. Well, after 145 as Lagarde continues to speak. Side of that's it really for today. So let's get on and look at the markets technically. Looking at the euro dollar first, and I was just looking at this. This is absolutely lovely looking flag sort of sitting here overall, nice clean sort of movement overall, he says. It's whether or not we see a breakdown, but of course now's not the time to be probably doing too much for this euro. Let me just bring that up there. That's near-term stuff that we're looking at. I mean, a break but below this trend line may well see us correct further. But certainly it's sort of the flaggy patterns there, but I'd be very wary until we see what happens from the ECB in terms of what they do. But it hasn't broken the trend that's going up there, the near-term trend as I just drew there. There we go, he says. Get the right one, there we go. So it hasn't broken that trend line yet, but it has put a little lower, lower high in the midst of all that. And is looking a little softer. Now it could be that we just come down back to support on the previous highs, this yearly quarterly pivot, and it just gets a bounce off that. It does look rather soft at the moment. Okay, the pound. Let's come out to the bigger picture here. Well, this is double topped, so we've got a bit of a double top here, although overall high lows, high highs still looking strong. And maybe this could also come off here, but for now slightly stronger. No news coming out that could affect it, is whether or not we actually see a sell-off from it. Again, same sort of price action as we've seen with the euro there. An intermediate little lower high. If we take this low out here, we'll be more interested in seeing it, but it is looking a little bit softer there at the moment. Dollar yen, well, that really did, I mean, we broke out the wedge yesterday, day before yesterday, then pushed back into the wedgie pattern, and now it's pushing out there. So I would expect that we'll see the depth of the wedge pushed up. It's not that far away from it. A really solid move through the Asian session there. It hasn't helped things at all. Yeah, it's already done a good chunk of the depth of this channel to the outside, but it is, as I said yesterday, it's one of the few that was moving in the direction of the sentiment, the big money sentiment, and it's well, still looking the way that shaped up, looks like it's probably got some more upside to go. Not necessarily an easy one to get into because it's moved so much this morning already. Morning, Michael. Aussie dollar. So the Aussie dollar back into those prior highs, and news hasn't affected it too much there. Those good employment that good employment data not really had a major effect. In fact, it's come off after that, so got into a bit of an ugly state where it is at the moment on this hourly picture for sure. We haven't touched either the R1 or the S1 yet. There is scope for either of those to be hit, but I still fancy, and I'm looking to see if there's any real genuine weakness here, but for now it's sitting around these highs here, the high of what was the channel at one stage. Just seeing if it actually breaks properly, and then all I'll look for is a retest and maybe go with. It's certainly got the near-term trend with this, and higher highs, higher lows. Hasn't shown quite the same weakness as the euro and the pound there. Dollar CAD. So dollar CAD piercing the trend line to a degree, but trend line, the pivot line there, yearly pivot line. However, it's just finding support into the prior lows there, and it's still got another level of support. There's a whole range of support that sits underneath here. Now it has bounced from that. Bounced yesterday, pushed on through this morning. And just looking like it could well be pushing some more. Excuse me, get rid of that. Certainly looks like it's a break above these highs would certainly give us higher lows, and structurally it's changed then. It'll have changed out of the near-term trend where it's just about doing that anyway. If we draw the lines across the highs from back here, it's peaked through it yesterday, but and then again this morning it's probably above that sort of level of trend line, but we'll see. We've got the 200 just a little bit further up, that might just provide resistance. Overall we've got the R1 just above there. Nothing really set on this. Some of the cross pairs then. Morning Ian J. Some of these cross pairs then, the euro yen's really got a bit of a kicker on there against the yen. The yen just sold off, and it's gone. There it was, gone, as my mum would have said. Through its R1, R2 and into its R3. Not a lot I can do with that, so that's a goner. In fact, the euro pairs today, they're pretty risky. I'll have a quick look at some of these, like the euro pound. The pound holding up just a bit better, but certainly don't want to be going chasing some of these euro Aussie and euro CAD. All these euro pairs, they could come midday be all over the place, so I will steer clear of them. The pound pairs, pound CAD, let's have a look. Still looking bullish, and still got some scope for some further upside. Aussie CAD was one I was looking at yesterday morning. That eventually went. I was looking at it, left it, and it eventually started breaking through 11 into 12, pushing up there. Well, that's well, again, it's done everything for the day at the moment. Trouble with some of these markets when they move overnight like they have, yeah, they're gone for me for the day. They've done their ranges. Now, of course, the ranges could be bigger, but it doesn't make for simple trading. Aussie yen, well, there's no surprise this is run. New Zealand dollar CAD, I don't know why I've highlighted that. It's maybe because I was looking at it previously, but that's doing like, well, softening, a break below the lows here. That gives it a lower high, looks softer. Bigger picture, it's it being in a downward trend. This could be interesting, actually. I shall watch this in a little bit more detail this morning to see if it breaks, but it has got the trend line. It's still above the trend line at the moment, so there isn't a dash, although if it starts breaking that low, certainly it does look a little different. And finally, he says, where's the Aussie New Zealand? Let's have just a quick look at that. That's not particularly the cleanest one to be running through. Yesterday it sold off. This morning the data from Australia there just picked up and pushing on through, but again he's pretty much done everything. So we get these in the morning sometimes, and it's not surprising after Fed meetings and employment data from Australia there, and data coming out there. It's just done it all. So we'll just have to wait. Euro pairs, as I said, I've got to tread really carefully on today and wait until the news is all out, and then we can get back to normal, whatever that is. Indices, and well, let's look at gold first. So gold just breaking through those lows there. That stronger US dollar just pushing down. So gold just breaking to the downside. Oil just hanging in there, really, isn't it, as well? Softer again yesterday. It's got a level of support around where my cursor is at the moment, at 67.05, somewhere in that region. That would vary depending on your broker and the feed, but around those lows, these lows here I'm looking at, a break of that would be a bit more bearish, and perhaps we'll come back to that previous spike, but he's looking on the softer side. Equity markets, most of them are down this morning, but ironically the CSI 300, which I'm really quite bearish on, it never really followed through yesterday from the on the short side there. I was looking at the shooting star into the monthly pivot, but it's broken through the monthly pivot. The good thing is, if you're trading and only looking to sell when it breaks and not before it breaks, just you would be safely out of the trade at the moment, and it's broken through. Maybe it's going to have a bigger correction. Maybe we'll see this take over and the others fall back a bit. The Nikkei's come off this morning fractionally. It's not massive. It's still in strong bullish trend there, as the Nifty is as well. So a little bit, both of them off. The Nifty 50 still got some running to do, but Aussie 200 sits in there. It's pretty close to that upper trend there, just coming off a little bit here. Again, on the shorter, if you're running through in the shorter times, this might it continue in its range at some stage and push down further, but short term it's tried its best there. Okay, that's the Aussie. S&Ps. S&Ps yesterday continued pushing up there, but after the Fed news didn't really affect it too much, but it's off this morning. But there you go, it's still relatively bullish here. The Dow come off a lot more, and the Nasdaq, well, still very strong even with the Fed meeting out there. They've closed up really positive yesterday. So there you go. That's pretty much. Oh, sorry, DAX. DAX. Well, the DAX yesterday managed to close up positively again. It's well, yeah. So it's sort of all in one surge, and then slowed down again. There's argument is a bit of a flaggy sort of pattern going on here with what we've seen being pushed up here. It's taking its time though. I talk about flags quite a lot because I quite like them. I really like them. They're great trading points. But this one is just dragging on. It might just break through the highs there eventually. But the more it drags, the weaker it becomes effectively. Want clean movements, short in terms of time, and then a push up there suggests more momentum. This effectively is losing momentum. The FTSE, well, continues to be in a mess, doesn't it? A chop. There we go. Whatever time frame you want, there's just a bigger version of the chop that we can see on every other time frame. On that cheerful note, I'll catch you tomorrow. Take care. Bye for now. Right.